Welcome to World Code Updates, your daily briefing on everything happening around the world. The news alert flashed across screens just after dusk. Breaking news: major incident at Ted Stevens Anchorage International Airport. Details were scarce, but reports spoke of a sudden total power failure. The bustling terminals went dark in an instant. Runway lights vanished into the Alaskan twilight. What began as a routine Tuesday evening plunged into chaos. Eyewitnesses described a jolt, then absolute blackness. Backup generators failed to start. This was no ordinary outage, it was a systemic collapse. The air traffic control tower went silent, communication systems failed, and the digital heart of the airport stopped. The world was about to learn just how vital this remote outpost truly is. Thousands of travelers were stranded, caught between flights and continents. The glow of cell phones became the only light. But with Wi-Fi down and cell networks overwhelmed, people were isolated. Outside, massive cargo planes sat motionless, their critical cargo going nowhere. The world's supply chain had just hit a major roadblock. This was more than an inconvenience, it was a security crisis unfolding in real time. Ted Stevens Anchorage International Airport, known as ANC, is a linchpin of American military strategy in the Arctic and Pacific. The airport shares runways with Joint Base Elmendorf-Richardson. The unexplained shutdown immediately raised alarms at the Pentagon and Homeland Security. Was this a cyber attack, sabotage, or catastrophic technical failure? The questions were immediate and terrifying. The answers were nowhere to be found. The blackout at the top of the world was not just a local event, it was a global shockwave. The world watched, waiting for answers. In the darkness, the vulnerability of our modern world was suddenly unmistakably clear. The crisis had only just begun. In the minutes after the blackout, an eerie quiet replaced the roar of jet engines. The air traffic control tower, usually a beacon of order, was now a powerless silhouette. Controllers were blind and mute, unable to guide planes or communicate with pilots. The skies over south-central Alaska became a dangerous, unmanaged space. Pilots on approach found their destination vanished. No runway lights, no radio, only emergency procedures and risky diversions. Each diversion was a near disaster averted, a stark reminder of our fragile systems. On the ground, baggage carousels and escalators froze, flight boards went blank, staff used flashlights and megaphones to guide people through the darkness. The lack of information bred fear and speculation among thousands trapped inside. For many Alaskans, ANC is the only link to the outside world: mail, groceries, medicine, everything. The silence at the airport echoed in remote villages now cut off. It was the silence of a patient waiting for a medevac that would not come. The shutdown was a critical artery severed, with immediate severe effects. The airport's silence was the sound of a lifeline being cut. Alaska's isolation had never felt so real. The world was listening, but no answers came. To grasp the crisis, you must understand Anchorage's role. Ted Stevens International is a global logistics giant. Its location makes it the fifth busiest cargo airport on Earth. Hundreds of cargo jets from Asia, Europe, and North America land here daily, making it a critical node in international trade. The shutdown severed a key link in the global supply chain, costing millions for every hour closed. Companies relying on just-in-time delivery faced production threats worldwide. Beyond commerce, ANC is vital to U.S. national security, sharing runways with Joint Base Elmendorf-Richardson. The base is the cornerstone of U.S. power in the Arctic and Pacific. Its grounding exposed a major vulnerability. For Alaska, the airport is everything: gateway for tourists, conduit for goods, lifeline for remote communities. When ANC shut down, daily life in Alaska stopped. From fresh milk to medical equipment, the flow of essentials ceased. The crisis revealed Alaska's unique dependence on this single piece of infrastructure. The world's interconnectedness was suddenly painfully obvious. The freeze at ANC sent a shiver through the global system. The shutdown at Ted Stevens was a stone dropped in a pond. Ripples of chaos spread worldwide. The global air cargo network was the first domino. Flights rerouted, costs soared, delays mounted. Perishable goods spoiled in grounded planes, disrupting the intricate dance of global logistics. Passenger travel suffered too. Families separated, vacations ruined, business meetings canceled. Airlines scrambled to reroute tens of thousands, as a problem in Alaska became a problem everywhere. Militarily, the implications were grave. Fighter jets and transport planes were grounded, readiness compromised. The shutdown showed how a single failure at a civilian military facility could threaten national defense. On the ground, Alaska's fragile supply chain broke. Food, medicine, and essentials halted. Supermarket shelves emptied, pharmacies worried, small businesses closed. The crisis turned a logistical problem into a humanitarian concern. Infrastructure security proved to be national security. The world saw how quickly disruption could cascade. Alaska's vulnerability was laid bare. The lesson: our systems are only as strong as their weakest link. The ripples kept spreading. The Anchorage blackout triggered a national security response at the highest levels. The White House Situation Room was activated. The president briefed. Was the U.S. under attack? That was the terrifying question. Homeland Security, FBI, and NSA launched urgent investigations, with cyber warfare experts searching for signs of a foreign attack. Federal agencies coordinated a massive response. FAA rerouted flights. FEMA prepared to airlift supplies to cut off communities. Military police secured the airport, while the Air Force mobilized resources from nearby bases. The message from Washington: all hands on deck. The cause remained unknown, fueling anxiety nationwide. The Anchorage blackout was a test of infrastructure, emergency response, and national resolve. The world watched to see how America would respond. The stakes had never been higher. Behind the headlines, the real story was lived by ordinary people. Thousands trapped in dark terminals for over 24 hours. Elderly, families, those with medical needs. Volunteers and the Red Cross brought blankets and food, turning lounges into shelters. The economic toll was devastating. Spoiled seafood, canceled tours, shuttered businesses. For many, the shutdown was a direct threat to their livelihood. Anxiety and rumors spread among the stranded, amplifying fear. Frontline workers, airport staff, TSA, paramedics became quiet heroes, maintaining order and providing care. Their dedication prevented catastrophe. The human cost was measured in lost security, lost income, and lasting trauma. As investigators probed the airport systems, three chilling theories emerged. First, a sophisticated cyber attack, crippling power, backups, and communications. Second, physical sabotage, insiders targeting key infrastructure. Third, a cascading technical failure, where a single glitch triggered a system-wide collapse. The most likely answer? A hybrid event. Technical failure exploited by cyber intrusion, or vice versa. The ambiguity itself was unsettling. Without answers, prevention is impossible. The mystery of Anchorage became a national concern. The Anchorage blackout was more than a crisis. It was a lesson in vulnerability. Our complex, efficient systems are also fragile, with single points of failure. The shutdown showed how one airport could threaten the global economy and create a humanitarian crisis. First lesson: invest in resilient infrastructure, repair, redesign, and harden against threats. Second, security, civilian and military infrastructure are intertwined. Collaboration is essential. Intelligence sharing and realistic drills must become routine. Third, international cooperation. A crisis in one country can quickly become global. The response required coordination across continents. Future crises will demand even more global action. Nationalism is not a viable strategy in an interconnected world. The silence at Anchorage was a global silence. The world must heed the warning. The next crisis could be even bigger. As lights returned to Ted Stevens, recovery began. But business as usual is not an option. This event must be a catalyst for change, moving from vulnerability to resilience. Transparency is key. A thorough public investigation is needed to understand and fix the failures. Action must follow. A national strategy for infrastructure resilience with major investment and bipartisan support. Training a new generation of engineers and cybersecurity experts is essential. The Anchorage blackout is a warning about our fragile future. The choices we make now will shape whether we face constant crisis or build lasting strength. We have seen our weakness, now we must turn it into strength. The silence over Anchorage demands a clear response. We will learn, adapt, and be ready. The future is watching. The world cannot afford to ignore the lesson.